How do I do this?
What would you like?
Not squirrel, not possum, not rats. Something that's already dead and nothing with a face. Please.
Well, you can try our new chicken McNuggets, and we have a Big Mac.
You know.
I quite like the quarter pounder.
It sounded funnier when I said it.
Without chicken.
I want to try everything.
Okay.
What's going on, guys? Bart here with Tully Television, and I want to thank all of you for stopping by, liking, commenting, sharing, all that beautiful YouTube stuff. The march to 300 subscribers still is on. Let's hit that subscribe bar if we earned that action today. But let's get into it. Loki Season 2, Episode 1, Ouroboros. Of course, starring Tom Hiddleston as Loki, Sophia DiMartino as Sylvie, Owen Wilson as our favorite jet ski wanting Mobius, Unami Mosaka as B-15, Neil Ellis as D-90, Eugene Cordero as Casey, Ki Hugh Kwan as Obi or Ouroboros, Kate Dickey as General Dox, and Liz Carr as Judge Gamble. Now, General Dox, Judge Gamble, Obi, and D90 are all new characters for this season as we revisit Sylvie, Loki, Morbius, and B-15. We pick up on basically Loki time slipping, okay? And when we seen him last at the end of season 1, where he seen Mobius and B-15, wasn't that they had entered him into a new alternate reality or anything. It was just he had time slipped into the past. So that's why they didn't know him at that particular moment. They have yet to meet him. But as they were chasing him in the beginning of this episode, he ended up jumping off the side at the TVA of this hallway that they're at and kind of fell into a cab, like a flying cab. That as it was swerving, ended up hitting a Kang statue and breaking the side of his cheek, crashing into somewhere. And we see Casey there getting all like, oh, what's going on? And he alerts everyone that, you know, that Loki was there or whatever. Sorry about that. Still dealing with this head cold. I apologize. But he winds up time slipping to another time where the TVA is kind of empty, and he's investigating it, and basically he keeps time slipping until he runs into Morbius. The Morbius that knows who he is, and he's explaining to him what's been going on, how him and Sylvie ran into He Who Remains, and is explaining the whole purpose of what the TVA was about. So basically, as Loki keeps time jumping, Mobius at one point with B-52 goes and has a meeting. Mobius and B-15 are called into basically a meeting by the new hunter that we come across, D90, and they are having basically a meeting with Judge Gamble and General Dox. And General Dox wants to continue how the TVA was running, and Judge Gamble decides against it, that there'll be no more pruning of timelines. making General Docs not happy about that decision. And it seems like her and D90 have some sort of, I'm not going to say like romantic relationship. I'm not meaning that in the regards when I say relationship, but there was this one moment after the judge's call about not pruning. She like kind of holds him head to head and tells him that what we were warned about is coming and everything, and we must prepare. Of course, we don't exactly know what that means yet or whatever at this point in the episode. But then we get Loki and Mobius to reunite. The way that Loki is time slipping, the effect looks really good because it does look like he's getting torn to bits and then getting reconstituted in front of our very eyes. Mobius winds up making a joke about how gross it is, even though he said it didn't, but then eventually he was like, oh, it just looks so horrible. And basically, Mobius realizes that his friend Ouroboros, or OB, can maybe have the answer of what's going on. And as they're there, Loki time slips back and meets OB to tell him what's going on, so he can tell Morbius in the present or in his future what's going on. Now, if you're not paying attention to some of this, you're going to miss out on a lot of intricacies and nuances to these time traveling type of scenarios. It's almost like you travel back in the past and you leave something to help you in your present that will help you out of a situation. Say, on December 12th, 2030, that you're going to be in a forest and someone's going to attack you. You go back in time 5 days before that and you leave a gun somewhere where you then can remember that you left it there, or come across it and be like, oh, okay, bada boom, bada bing. And so that's when Ouroboros decides to make a machine that is going to pull Loki's essence together out of the time stream and reconstitute it into the present time, so then he can stop time slipping. And that requires Mobius to get into a suit, go plug in something into a machine to help then bring Mobius back, with this device. But if it's not done correctly, Mobius will be skinned alive and Loki will then dissipate into time forever, never being able to be returned again. Fortunately for our buddy cop duo here, they are successful. But as Loki is in the future before he's pulled back, because he also has to be pruned. When Morbius puts in the thing, Loki has to prune himself, and that's how he's able to come back. He sees Sylvie near where they had to go into the He Who Remains office, and Loki sees Sylvie there because she's able to distract him there and let him know that, oh, there you are, and someone from behind prunes him. We don't know who, but my theory is that it's himself that pruned himself. It's his future self that pruned his present self, so then he can go back in the past to be his present self there. And that leads into why I think this was called Ouroboros. Ouroboros is a snake that eats itself continuously. And it's a never-ending circle, a loop. And Loki created a loop with the help of Sylvie to help him come back so he can help save Sylvie, so she can help him, and then figure out what to do with the TVA and all that wonderful stuff. And figure out how to stop the oncoming multiversal war. And that's where the episode ends. They run some credits, and then we see what happens to Sylvie. She winds up in 1982 Broxton, Indiana, and she enters a McDonald's. And to her, it seems like the happiest place on earth because she sees a couple there, a bunch of friends sharing food, having food and laughing and ha-has and hee-hees. And she's asking the guy what's good there. She wants anything that doesn't have a face or anything like that. And he's just like, not sure what she means, but he's just like, well, we got chicken nuggets, we got Big Mac and stuff. And so that's probably most likely how Sylvie started working for McDonald's that we've seen in the trailer. So she's, to her, that is her happy place, I guess, right? And that's where really the episode ends. I think this has been the best episode, definitely the top 2 or 3 episodes of this series so far. It just has a different vibe, a different feel to it. There does seem to feel like a little bit more urgency on Loki's part, even though it's to find Sylvie. I hope that he can continue to realize that he's just as powerful as Sylvie is. I'm not going to say who's more powerful, but it's always he's just so obsessed with Sylvie because Sylvie is himself, right? A variant of himself, and it's like two magicians trying to out magic each other. You can't, and so when she calls him out on his bullshit, she's calling herself out on her bullshit too. And that's what I think he's obsessed about and why he fell in love with himself, basically, or the female version of himself. But I hope that once they get together, they can stop playing this weird power dynamic that they tried to do in season 1, where it was like, Loki and Sylvie, I think, are both on the same footing with a lot of stuff as far as power sets are concerned. And if she can do it, then Loki can definitely do it too, because he did it through her, being her. If you're not really into complicated time jumping or time traveling shows, this might be a little confusing or off-putting for you, which I get, but I think that this was a really great episode. I want to put it up there as an 8 out of 10 for sure, 8.5, and I hope that the rest of the season continues to have the same sort of stakes in a way, even put forward through this season, because I already feel like this episode surpassed so many episodes from last year already that if they continue, I think they can fix a lot of missteps they took last year or last season with this show. Because Loki is a beloved character. He's a great character, and to see him, or at least to see this version of him develop into the Loki that we knew who died at Endgame or Infinity War, and to continue that redemption arc, I think is a fantastic thing. I love Tom Hiddleston. Owen Wilson is a great actor as well. And the guy who played Ouroboros, OB, was great too. I think that's a great addition to this cast, and I think that General Dox is going to be a big problem for them, and I like to see where she goes from here as well. But only time will tell where this series will lead us and how it will lead into Secret Wars in the King Dynasty. But you let me know down below what you think of Loki Episode 2. Loki episode 1 from season 2. Until next time, peace, Snookums.